Global warming, or climate change, is a subject that shows no sign of cooling down. Here's the lowdown on why it's happening, what's causing it, and how it might change the planet. Average temperatures have climbed 1.4 degrees Fahrenheit, or 0.08 degrees Celsius, around the world since 1880. Much of this in recent decades, according to NASA's Goddard Institute of Space Studies. The rate of warming is increasing. The 20th century's last 2 decades were the hottest in 400 years and possibly the warmest for several millennia, according to the number of climate studies. The Arctic is feeling the effects the most. Average temperatures in Alaska, western Canada, and eastern Russia have risen at twice the global average, according to the multinational Arctic Climate Impact Assessment Report compiled between 2000 and 2004. Arctic ice is rapidly disappearing, and the region may have its first completely ice-free summer by 2040 or earlier. Polar bears and indigenous cultures are already suffering from the sea ice loss. Glaciers and mountain snows are rapidly melting. For example, Montana's Glacier National Park now has only 27 glaciers versus the 150 in 1910. In the northern hemisphere, thaws also come a week earlier in spring and freezes begin a week later. Coral reefs, which are highly sensitive to small changes in water temperature, suffered the worst bleaching or die-off in response to stress ever recorded in 1998. With some areas seeing bleach rates of 70%, experts expect these sorts of events to increase in frequency and intensity in the next 50 years as sea temperatures rise. An upsurge in the amount of extreme weather events, such as wildfires, heat waves, and strong tropical storms, is also attributed to climate change by some experts. Are we humans causing it? Very likely. Human-caused global warming is often called anthropogenic climate change. Industrialization, deforestation, and pollution have greatly increased atmospheric concentrations of water vapor, carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide, all greenhouse gases that help to trap heat near Earth's surface. Humans are pouring carbon dioxide into the atmosphere much faster than plants and oceans can absorb it. The oceans surrounding Antarctica have lost some of their appetite for carbon dioxide, worrying scientists who are banking on the oceans to slow global warming, according to a new study. They suspect stronger winds over these seas, which include parts of the Indian, Atlantic, and Pacific Oceans, are causing them to absorb less carbon dioxide, which is greenhouse gas. What's more, global warming and the ozone hole over the southern pole may be driving these fierce winds. The oceans near Antarctica are thought to have one of the healthiest appetites for greenhouse gases. Their surface waters can guzzle around 15% of all the carbon dioxide produced by people, which comes mostly from industry and automobile emissions. The new study found that oceans are mopping up only about 10% of carbon dioxide, requiring projections for future levels of the greenhouse gases to be bumped up accordingly. Some experts point out the natural cycle in Earth's orbit can alter the planet's exposure to sunlight, which may explain the current trend. Earth has indeed experienced warming and cooling cycles roughly every 100,000 years due to these orbital shifts, but such changes have occurred over the span of several centuries. Today, changes have taken place over the past 100 years or less. What's going to happen, you might ask? Global warming could possibly lead to large-scale food and water shortages and have catastrophic effects on wildlife. Sea levels could rise between 7 and 23 inches by century's end. Rises of just 4 inches could flood many South Seas islands and swamp large parts of Southeast Asia. Glaciers around the world could melt, causing sea levels to rise, while creating water shortages in regions dependent on runoff for fresh water. Strong hurricanes, droughts, heat waves, wildfires, and other natural disasters may become commonplace in many parts of the world. The growth of desert may also cause food shortages in many places. Million species face extinction from disappearing habitat, changing ecosystems, and acidifying oceans. Global warming is a dramatic, urgent, and serious problem. We don't need to wait for governments to find a solution for this problem. Each individual can bring an important help adopting a more responsible lifestyle. Starting from little, everyday things, it's the only reasonable way to save our planet before it's too late.